Welcome everyone to the special pipe analysis for the Green Luigi Pipe. This is a really exciting one because we're going to be taking a look at the data in a very deep and meaningful way for a good number of the folks out there. And if the Luigi Pipe isn't something that you're immediately drawn to, still the presentation of these items and their value, as well as the implications for utilizing the coverage optimizer that's available through our Discord server will have for your specific account will be clearly apparent at the conclusion of this presentation. And then of course we're going to go into the all clear pipe and have a little bit of fun at the very end. So if that sounds good to you all, please drop a thumbs up on this video and subscribe to the channel. I can't thank you all enough for all the support that you've shown. The channel recently reached 1,000 subscribers, and it's a credit to all of you in the community. The ideas presented here and the interactions that we share are so meaningful, and I'm very grateful for all the support that everyone has shown. The Green Luigi Pipe features a selection of 5 drivers and 5 cards, and we're really going to focus on the selection of drivers in play since the cards don't present anything significant. In fact, they don't even pair with the drivers that are represented in this pipe. And what this pipe does is it kind of represents what I would consider to be like a starter pack for the Luigi fans out there. And that is that it encompasses the vast majority of Luigi alternate versions that exist in this game, and the presentation of that is mixed because some of them possess enormous value and very recent value, while others are older and more limited in their value. So all of that we'll be taking a look at here today. For starters, I want to build out what it looks like to form an account around your favorite items, right? And this is a concept that I champion here on the channel. It's the one that I personally carry out in the way of my love for the Donkey Kong series of characters. But for you, it's likely to be something different. And if you're watching this, it may be Luigi. So how would I approach then building out coverage based on these Luigi characters? And the first thing we have to look at is what they present. So of these 5 drivers, they present 65 courses of coverage of the assumed value kind. Now those are the retro tracks, right? These are the tracks that have been brought in from past Mario Kart games. So they're like, you know, the Daisy Hills of the world, the Luigi Mansions of the world, so on and so forth. It does not include the Nitro courses, which encompass Merry Mountain, Ninja Hideaway, and all of the cities such as Amsterdam, the tour that we're currently in. The 65 courses represent those that are unlocked to these 5 Luigi characters when you bring them all to level 6. Now, if we were to expand that coverage to what it looks like at level 8, then it would go to 69 of the 194 assumed value courses. All told, that's between 33.5% assumed value course coverage in the way of level 6 Green Luigi Pipe driver coverage, or 35.6% if you're willing to take all of those drivers up to level 8, if they have that much meaning and significance for your account. The next step we want to do is fill out that coverage among the ones that aren't covered by these Luigi, so the lapses in coverage, mind you. And what we found is that through running simulations on the coverage optimizer, there's 3 drivers that complement these 5 in both the level 6 and level 8 situations. And those 3 drivers are Gold Dry Bones, Peach Explorer, and Penguin Mario. It's the optimal combination for both level 6 and level 8 course coverage. Each of these nearly doubles the course count that you would be looking to have on your account, up to 117 out of the 194 assumed value courses for level 6 coverage, and that jumps to 120 out of 194 of that coverage for level 8 investments. Now let's say you're looking at this pipe and you're a Luigi fan and you've already had several of these on your account and you're just looking for a specific one or two to fill into your inventory, right? So this isn't so much of a starter pack, this is like a booster pack then. So you're just looking to pull that one really rare one, right? As we'll take a look at the odds calculations in just a little bit here. Then it might also be likely that you possess other Luigi alts that aren't being represented in this pipe, and those are Builder Luigi and Penguin Luigi. Then how does that coverage optimization work when factoring in those? In comparing the expanded complementary coverage from that of the Green Luigi Pipe 5 drivers that we're taking a look at here to all 7 of the Luigi characters, and then looking for 3 drivers that complement this coverage the most, we find that Peach Explorer is conserved in all 11 of the combinations when expanding our search for optimal coverage to those enforced selections of the additional Builder Luigi and Penguin Luigi into the selection. So that's 100% of the course coverage. The takeaway here is that if you are a Luigi fan and you're molding your account around this strategy, Peach Explorer will give you undeniable course value coverage across a wide selection of tracks in any situation, right? Think of it kind of like a tree, and we have all of these branches, and each of the optimal combinations is a node at the end of the branch. Well, in this situation, Peach Explorer follows the pathway of each branch up the tree, right? So she is one that unquestionably you will want to have on your account and at a fairly significant level in order to best complement the Luigi strategy. Now, when we look at Penguin Mario in this more expanded view in the Luigi metagame, we see that he's only present in 6 of the 11 combinations of optimal course coverage, which is 54.5%. So this is still significant. Over half of the combinations that present the best course coverage to you with Luigi will include that Penguin Mario, but then we're looking at nearly the other half presents different selections with which you could have equally powerful coverage. This is important to realize because Penguin Mario is not readily available in pipes, right? He's only been available in select pipes in the past. It's not a standard high-end yet, so this is a situation then where if you don't have access to that one on your account, all of those other combinations become that much more relevant. Instead of waiting out for Penguin Mario, there could be a number of existing equally powerful options that already exist on your account. And this applies even more significantly for Dry Bones Gold, because he only represents 2 out of the 11 optimal combinations that exist for all of the Luigi coverage. So that's only 18%, folks, which presents a lot more diversity of characters that you could fill in that coverage with. Now, you might be wondering, well, Dry Bones Gold is a coin box driver, and that's the maximum scoring potential, so that would be a great one to include with the Luigi strategy, right? Because it would be very powerful. And part of that is true, but you also may want to stagger the levels. It depends how significant and important you want to make these Luigi characters as part of your strategy, right? If you take Dry Bones Gold all the way up to level 8, well, now it's counterfeiting a lot of the courses, you know, particularly those of like Painter Luigi, who has a numerous amount of coin box overlap. So then you wouldn't be using the Luigi on those tracks, you'd be using the Dry Bones Gold on those tracks. So that's something that you can dictate with your own personal approach in discovering and identifying what those needs and desires are for your own personal progress. And just to give a broader idea for what the most frequent options are among those combinations of optimal course coverage that don't include Peach Explorer, Penguin Mario, and Dry Bones Gold for all Luigi high-end alts in the game, Well, then we're turning our sights to Dixie Kong and Kamek for level 6 course coverage. So if you're an account that is looking to mostly maximize things at level 6, Dixie Kong and Kamek present that optimal coverage along with the Luigis in multiple of the combinations in which Penguin Mario and also Dry Bones Gold are not present. Furthermore, if you are an account that's looking to go all the way up to level 8, well then substitute out the Dixie Kong and you'll want to include Donkey Kong Jr. SNES because he is a real powerhouse and present on many of the optimal combinations for level 8 complete Luigi coverage. And that about wraps up the complete story of the Luigi character metagame. So if this is something that you want to start forming your account around, perhaps it's time to consider pulling on the Green Luigi Pipe. So we're going to bounce into the app in just a moment. Furthermore, what I will say is that this data is all generated from the Coverage Optimizer tool that is currently available in the Discord server for our community. So I'll leave a link in the description below for an invitation. It's a free and open resource. If you're familiar with Mario Kart Tour Toolbox, it's a very similar tool, except it will read out multiple equally optimal combinations. So whereas the Toolbox app will only put out the first optimal combination that comes up from its search, oftentimes we see that the combinations are numerous, particularly as you expand the size of the driver count that you're looking at. As the value of n increases, so does the number of combinations that are optimal. So if you're only seeing the first one, you're completely unaware of many of these other equally powerful combinations that exist out there, and a Turtle Dudes program does just that in the desktop app format. It's exciting times on the channel, that is for sure. We'll be presenting a new series regularly that looks at various components and aspects of the metagame from your own personal standpoints. We're gonna reach a lot of ground here, and it's so exciting to look forward to. And we're also going to be focusing specifically on relevant time-sensitive material such as this Green Luigi Pipe. So let's take a look at this one. I mean, 12% is definitely a bait pipe, right? So if Luigis are not your main focus in the game, that 12% is going to catch your eye. But is it worth it, right? That is something that we will seek to answer in this situation. There's no spotlights in this pipe, so that is very scary, right? It could be a bottomless pit, and we're going to go ahead and do the math on this. So if we take a look at the value of each of these drivers by going over to the driver selection here, Classic Luigi represents one that's been around in the game. He was introduced before I even started playing Mario Kart Tour in the Super Mario Bros. Tour, and comes with the Lucky 7 skill, so this is definitely a plus skill. The course coverage is pretty limited here. We have 4, 8, 12, 16, 22. So, and many of these are going to be nitro value. We see that it has access to multiple London variants, New York Minute 4, Merry Mountain, so, and also older London and Paris designations there. So his value is going to be limited in what he's presenting your account. And that's reflective of what we've come to call it year one syndrome here, right? A lot of these items and characters don't get the buffs, continued support in the game, as do, you know, a lot of the characters that were introduced later into 2020 and certainly 2021, as we will see with some of the other selections of Luigi here. So the next one we have is Later Hozen. So this was in the first tour after the New Year's in 2021. Debuted in Berlin, but actually didn't pick up too many Berlin tracks. So his assumed count is pretty good. If we have a look here, we have 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 26, 27 tracks overall here. So And it's a nice selection. Many of them were paywalled variants in 2021, like we see the DK Summit T, we see the Airship Fortress RT, the Choco Mountain RT, Vanilla Lake 1T, Armax Ghost Valley 1T. So Luigi later Hozen had quite a decent run. Wasn't one of the major paywall warriors, as we would call him, but he had shown his proper dues with these buffs. That much is certain. So his value moving forward is going to be limited since he's already had his run, and this is mostly fully realized value here. So it's not going to be expanding much beyond that. We'll likely just receive, 2 or 3 courses throughout the entire year. That's really at most. Scrolling down the list, then we have Luigi Painter. Now he is a lot more of a force in the game, but it depends who you are in that situation, right? Because if we take a look at the course count here, there's 10 courses of value, 20 courses of value, 36. So that's quite a large number, but I do want to caution you on that. A double-digit number of nitro courses. So, if we're looking at the assumed value, then you would boot out the Amsterdam Drift that he just received, Singapore Speedway, the Merry Mountain, Berlin, Vancouver, Paris, Sydney. It's just been a litany of these nitro courses. And the thing is, with these nitro courses, I really want to be specific about them. They're not a terrible thing for these items' value, because as we can see with the 36 course selection, Nintendo has more than made up to it for him, right? He has like 22 assumed value courses. But the thing is, if you're just pulling for this character now, if this is your first experience with Luigi Painter, then you're not going to reap the benefits of those 14 nitro courses that someone who paid that premium to get early access for this Luigi Painter back in the Paris tour last summer would have had, right? They would have the benefit of being able to use this character on each of those city buffs that it was presented to. So when I say the word empty calories, it's a difference in how empty those calories were depending upon your unique optics in the game, right? And that's why, putting out a generalization like that is more in good fun and to give an impression of what something is, but that's not the complete picture, right? If we really want to talk about the complete picture on everything, we could talk about this game for hours. It is so dynamic and so involved. And that's one of the real drawing points of the ecosystem of Mario Kart Tour. It is really a very rich ecosystem. So clearly, and the other thing too with Luigi Painter is that the assumed value courses have a large number of coin box overlaps. So if you are a meta player, if you're looking to invest into coin box and other plus special skills, Luigi Painter doesn't do a significant amount for you. However, if you aren't very high on the investment scale and you're still looking for plus skills that have enormous course coverage. I know a lot of folks, particularly those in the free-to-play community like Isai and Intenian, who have been carried so heavily by Luigi Painter. So his course coverage, even if you are investing into plus skills, but maybe not all of them, is a situation where you may find that he doesn't present the same large number of overlap that the spreadsheets would tell you, and then it's suddenly a much more viable option for your account, and it could really power your account in those regards. So this is the crown jewel of this pipe. Luigi Vacation Boomerang character was just released in Singapore in 2022, so his value is still alive, right? He's still growing, and if we take a look at things here, we see he has 10 courses, 22 courses so far, so he isn't fully realized value yet. If you get in on Luigi Vacation now, he will continue to pick up buffs and potentially carry your account at select moments in the near future. Now, it's not to say that he will be one of those undisputed paywall warriors, but it's possible. It's within the range of possible outcomes, that much is for sure, because he has had a fairly large number of nitro courses that are here. We see all of the Singapore tracks, we see multiple Los Angeles tracks here, and did not pick up the Amsterdam. So might that be in the way signaling future buffs that he could be looking to pick up, since he only picked up the Choco Island one this tour. It's coming off the Yoshi Valley T last tour. But regardless of this, this is the kind of a plus skill that will present your account with enormous power, and it's a fine time to get involved in it. But we'll see when we bounce it over to the calculator for your odds probability now. If this is the only item that you want in this pipe, likely going to be a hard pass on that one. And he will appear again in future pipes, because being one of the city drivers that was introduced just this year, these are the ones that are brought back during the anniversary tour. And most of them in the way of spotlights in those lucrative 12% high-end pipes that they so graciously put out for the community. So now you might be saying, well, Kevin, that's missing out then on the nitro value, that premium value, and then whatever city courses he picks up, then by the time the anniversary rolls around, those will have been empty calories. To a degree, because only so many of those courses can come back into ranked mode during the anniversary tour. And it will be interesting to see what they do with that for the anniversary tour this year, given that New York Minute has already had 4 variants, and New York is typically the focal point of these anniversary tours. So we'll have to see what they end up doing with anniversary this year. We'll have a different composition, I think, than the first 2 have had. But that's really looking at things on the distance. The major point is that if this is the only thing that's catching your eye in this pipe, strongly recommend not pulling. And then we take a look at Luigi Golf, who's even newer, debuted in the week 2 pipe for the Los Angeles tour that featured Charge and Chuck. So we see here, his value still has plenty of room to grow, right? He only has access to 17 courses at the given moment. We can see he has value in Amsterdam, so immediate return on him if you were to pick him up. But I would strongly recommend also not pulling specifically for ranked mode, particularly when there's not a spotlight, folks. That could be very detrimental to your resource net worth, right? Could significantly drop that. And the probability that it increases it with the limited amount of rubies that we win from ranked mode is exceedingly low. So really, given that it has the double bomb skill, you know, his value is going to come from niche course selection, and it's unclear if he's going to be presented with that kind of value. Certainly he has had a few paywall tracks. We see that it's the Yoshi Valley is there, but other than that, the Wario Shipyard RT as well. So he's in that midterm value stage right now. It all depends on how long they carry that out for, and he's a little bit unprecedented. I've been cautious on projecting a more clear picture of what his fully realized value will be, because he appeared as a brand new character along with Mario Golf in a week 2 pipe. That sort of thing has not been seen in years, if at all, in the game. So there's really no kind of an analog with which to compare the range of value that we can expect it to see. And the only thing that we can say now is that the value of Luigi Golf is going to divert a bit from that of Mario Golf, given his special pipe appearance here. And this appearance does have significance in the way of its value, because it kind of makes the courses that it's going to pick up in the near future that immediate return value for players who picked up this character now going into this pipe, and that might alter its more long-term effect compared to that of Mario Golf, right? So those are my thoughts on each of these drivers here. Now let's talk about the probability calculation, right? Because we've beat it home that there are no spotlights here. And the distribution for your 50 pipe is going to be 3 of the drivers, 3 of the carts. We're not going to take a look at the carts, folks. I mean, most of these are real stinkers. I mean, the only one, 2 that are even worth mentioning would be the Lime Tea Coupe, which has an enormous selection of courses, but an almost equally enormous selection of nitro value, right? So that's value that if you're just picking this up on your account now, you can't get that value back. It's also a standard high end too, so you can pull it in any pipe. We can get it in the all clear pipe later. Hopefully not. That's not one that would personally help my account very much. The other one is the Green Lightning. That's the cart that paired with the Luigi Golf back in the Los Angeles tour in February. So other than that, these are really old carts, or an MK2B Dasher, which had to compete with all the other ones as well as all of the other new items that were brought into the game last fall. So the value on those has been very limited and nitro heavy at that. So then, let's swing it over to the calculator and say, hey, you know, if you're going into this pipe for Luigi Vacation, what are your chances, right? How many rubies should we be expecting to need going in order to procure just that one item? So, in this situation, it's going to be really apparent how punishing it is that there's 5 drivers in the selection, right? So as always, we start with the number 1 that represents the entire range of outcomes in the probability, right? It's between 0 and 1. 1 represents 100% of them. And then we're going to select out the drivers that we don't want to be pulling from this selection. So that would be, if you're just going for Luigi Vacation, all of the other 4, right? So it's 4 divided by 5. And then we're going to set the exponent here to the number of trials that we would be experiencing in the pipe. And what I mean by a trial is the number of high ends that we see, right? And we saw that there are 3 high ends per 50 pipes. So for just a single drain of the pipe, and granted this is a worst case scenario, if you have to go all the way down to the bottom, which is certainly possible and likely for many of you, then it would be for 225 rubies in this situation. And we can see there that it's 48.8%, not even 50%, folks, to get Luigi Vacation in a single drain of the pipe. That is scary. That's really scary, because normally when I come on and do these odds, it's like, you know, high 50%, right? And usually then when we expand it for a double drain, it goes up, you know, between like 70 and 80%, right? So let's see now if you've managed to save up 450 rubies, like the same 450 that would have guaranteed Luigi Vacation in his debut pipe in Singapore. What would your odds be of obtaining him then? Well, we're going to start off with the same 1 minus, and it's still the same 4 divided by 5, since the selection that we're looking at is just that 1 driver. But we are going to double the exponent. Now we're going to be looking at 6 high ends, right? We can drain this out twice, so we can get 3 drivers and another 3. Of course, if you're hitting the drivers early in your pipe pulls, you're going to want to reset and bank positive value. It's going to improve your picture in the situation. But I go with the worst case scenario, since this will give you a very clear idea of the maximum amount of rubies that you would need to spend. So calculating things here, we can see goes up to 73.8%. That's your chance of getting Luigi Vacation with 450 rubies maximum. So that's not even a 3/4 chance of obtaining him. Boy, these pipes are really scary without the spotlights, and it's all because of that large selection. You might say, well, 3 high-end drivers is really good. You know, a lot of folks remember the Nabbit Lucky 7 pipe, right? There was just that 1 driver. But the pool for that was just 3. So the hit rate, at least once you find that driver, much more substantial than 1 in 5. And just to juxtapose that, let's say in this situation, you're either looking for the 2 new Luigis, such as Luigi Golf and Luigi Vacation, or Luigi Vacation, or if you're looking for the 2 with the plus special skills that are more recent, such as Luigi Painter or Luigi Vacation, then let's do 3 divided by 5 in this situation. So then you would only not be looking for the later Hozen, the classic Luigi, in either the Golf or the Painter in this hypothetical situation. And we're going to go back. We're just going to look at a single drain now, folks. We're going to just put in those 3 high ends, and you'll see comparison-wise what the odds are. So it's a 78.4% chance. If you're looking for only one of those 2, the odds in 225 rubies are better than if you're committing 450 rubies to just that one driver, right? So just expanding your window open to a second driver in this selection greatly swings things on your side. And that's why at the beginning of this analysis, I really wanted to emphasize how this is kind of like a starter pack, right? This is for folks who really want to invest, collect, build their accounts around Luigi. This is a sensational pipe for that. I mean, really have fun with it. Make sure that you have enough rubies, 225, to at least see and realize that high-end value that's in the pipe. Otherwise, folks, be prepared to go deep. If this is your opportunity to get Luigi Vacation, strong recommendation to continue waiting, because what they do is they release these items and they dangle them, right? So that you're like, I need to get him now because I don't know when the next time is that I'll get him. Well, the next time that you're going to have access to get him, which could be within the next month, could be within a few months, but it would be a guarantee then, folks. So you can avoid all of the stress and the negative aspects of the results of the pipe and just really guarantee that item on your account. It's the way I recommend approaching it in this situation because it will make you the happiest in the long term. So, but of course, if you feel obliged to pull for just that one driver, I wish you all the best of luck. I really do. Anyway, folks, taking a look at ranked here, I made some moves, obviously. A great run with DK Jr. I had a double, triple banana frenzy with a coin frenzy, so it was a triple frenzy run. Bottom shelf cart really is holding me back there because the nearly 34K score was just enormous. 158 actions on that. Haven't had much frenzy luck on the other courses. Did a little bit of upgrades for the Amsterdam drift, and unfortunately it's looking like that's only going to be investment that will help me secure second place, since my top player here, this is one of those things with the ranked algorithm, right? It's not purely RNG, right? Like this player was paired with me, based on, the set of parameters here. We can see 45K. That's not an enormous high score given the driver list that they have, in their inventory superior to mine. Their tier is relatively close to mine. So this is a player that is, on my relative skill level, but the algorithm can't expect like, hey, this person is going to go crazy over the new Rosalina character, right? And as they pulled for them, they leveled them up. So that's the situation, and that can happen to you in any given week. And as such, we use our resources to get to a very positive point with where we stand. There's actually some benefit to this as well. Yes, I am, dropping to just 20 rubies that I'll pick up from this, but it spares me from using any high-end tickets, right, as would have been, on the Magic Parasol or the Starry Great Sale, as well as saves me a boatload of super tickets that I was looking to pour into Rosalina, since I was projecting to need, 77K to secure first place before those massive moves were made by Nelly there. So, it's a double-edged sword, and this is why I often say, if you are free to play or gold pass only, and you're trying to move up the ranks and play a really smart long-term resource strategy game, second is the new first. Because look, we pick up the ranked reward, right? Pick up the same number of cap tickets, right? So it's just the rubies, okay? The premium currency, 20 rubies is 8,000 coins of raw value, right? Converted from the pipe pulls in a standard 100 pipe. So not an ideal best of case situation, but we make do, and then we adjust and we pivot and we maintain a greater stack of resources in the back to compensate for the reduction that we're going to be receiving coming in. And it's not a huge reduction, because when you really control your game, you know, I don't want to harp on this too much, but when you save your rubies to certain points, those 20 rubies, you can do the calculation what percentage that is of the total. It's nominal. So let's do the final time trial, and then we'll do the all clear pipe. I kind of like when they do the time trial last. I like the time trial, I like the mega boss. The reverse race can be fun too. So those are my top 3. So there's a lot of shortcuts to take on Choco Island. I think I'm going to take the one that's at the end of the lap. Missed the jump boost there. Alright. So this is the one I'm going to take. A little chunky on that line. Still managed to pick up the jump boost there, so that's good. Alright. Ooh, a little bit wide on that. That's alright. There we have it, folks. 45 seconds. So we'll see what the parameter is for the 3 stars. 51. So well, percentage-wise, that's a pretty good dip. But I can imagine that a lot of the top pro time trialers out there are probably trying to go sub 40. Best of luck to all of the time trialers out there. So here we go, all cups cleared. What am I looking for in the all clear pipe, right? Well, there's certainly no essential need at the given time, so it's just looking for things that are good for the account long term, right? You know, we saw the Dixie Kong there, always looking for a funky Kong. Now, just to get them one step closer to level 8, reduces the need for a ticket that could then be spent on something else. And then, of course, things that look to expand coverage for them on my account. So, you know, last tour we were looking for things like the Wild Pink, the Pink Dozer. There's been so many new gliders that I don't have access to on my account, you know, going all the way back to like the Black Great Sale. You know, there's like the Royal Parachute, those, the Meteor Balloons, which are newer even. I mean, that would be phenomenal. The Silver Surf Masters, there's just, you know, too many to list, honestly. So let's see, maybe we can get a good result here. Okay, the butterfly wings, that does provide some course coverage for the Kongs. We see the Dino Jungle R there, but that's covered by supers, so that's not going to be significant. The main one that I'm thinking of is the RMX Vanilla Lake 1R with the Dixie Kong. So yeah, that's not a great pull for the account. And look, we can't always get something new, but actually I've shared with the folks on my Discord, it's like the number of things that I don't have that's currently in the all clear pipe, because they keep adding stuff, which is great, honestly. It makes it feel fresh and new as we keep doing this, but it's like nearly 30 items that I don't have in this. So we've been very cold from the all clear pipe as of late. But you know what, maybe we can reverse our fortunes. Let's fire off the last freebie for Amsterdam pipe #1, right? It's a greenie, so just a normal. That's the way it goes, folks. That is the way it goes. Anyway, I do hope you found this content to be fascinating. The implications of what we're looking at here, because I know Luigi is a limited market within the game for sure. But the implications of what we'll be looking at in the near future with regards to, you know, metagame analysis for things that have significant impact and gravity for a large number of you out there, as well as more of these kind of niche strategies that I really provide a strong platform here, because I know that the meaning that they have to players, I know that that's why I play. And the same is true for many of you out there. So I do hope you enjoy. Best of luck in ranked mode on your pipe pulls, and I'll be seeing you soon. Take care, everybody.